One day, Jesus and his mother, Mary, went to a wedding in Cana. The people were celebrating and having a great time. But then, oh no, they ran out of wine. Mary turned to Jesus and said,
"They have no wine."
Jesus replied,
"Mine hour is not yet come."
But Mary told the servants,
"Whatever thing he tells you to do, do it."
Jesus saw 6 large stone water pots nearby. He told the servants,
"Fill the water pots with water."
They did as he said, and then Jesus told them,
"Draw out now and bear unto the governor of the feast."
When the man in charge tasted it, his eyes widened in surprise. The water had turned into the best wine they had ever had. The people were amazed, and this was the first miracle Jesus performed. Another time, a huge crowd followed Jesus because they wanted to hear him teach. But as the sun started setting, the people were getting really hungry. Jesus turned to his disciples and asked,
"Whence shall we buy bread that these may eat?"
Philip looked around and shook his head.
200 pennyworth of bread is not sufficient for them.
Then Andrew, another disciple, said,
"There is a lad here, which hath 5 barley loaves and 2 small fishes. But what are they among so many?"
Jesus smiled and said,
"Make the men sit down."
He took the loaves and fishes, looked up to heaven, and gave thanks. Then he broke the bread and started handing it to the disciples, who gave it to the people. Something amazing happened. No matter how much they passed out, there was always more. Everyone ate until they were full, and when they gathered the leftovers, there were 12 baskets full. One night, Jesus' disciples were in a boat, rowing across a stormy sea. The wind howled, and the waves crashed against them. Suddenly, they saw something, or someone, walking toward them on the water. The disciples gasped in fear. "It is a spirit," they cried out. But Jesus called to them,
"Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid."
Peter, still unsure, said,
"Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water."
Jesus told him to come out and walk unto him. Peter stepped out of the boat and, wow, he was walking on water too. But when he saw the strong wind, he got scared and started sinking.
"Lord, save me."
Peter cried. Jesus reached out his hand, caught Peter, and said,
"O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt?"
As soon as they got into the boat, the storm stopped, and the disciples worshipped Jesus, saying, "Of a truth thou art the Son of God." One day, Jesus saw a man who had been blind since birth. His disciples asked,
"Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?"
Jesus answered,
"Neither hath this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him."
Then Jesus spat on the ground, made clay, and put it on the man's eyes.
"Go, wash in the pool of Siloam."
Jesus told him. The man did as Jesus said, and when he washed his eyes, he could see. The people were amazed, asking,
"Is not this he that sat and begged?"
The man answered,
"A man that is called Jesus made clay, and anointed mine eyes, and said unto me, Go to the pool of Siloam, and wash. And I went and washed, and I received sight."
Lazarus, a friend of Jesus, was very sick. His sisters, Mary and Martha, sent a message to Jesus, saying,
"Lord, behold, he whom thou lovest is sick."
But Jesus waited a few days before going. When he finally arrived, Martha said,
"Lord, if thou hadst been here, my brother had not died."
Jesus replied,
"Thy brother shall rise again."
Martha thought he meant later, in the future. But Jesus said,
"I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live."
Then Jesus went to Lazarus' tomb and commanded,
"Take ye away the stone."
Martha hesitated.
"Lord, by this time he stinks, for he hath been dead 4 days."
Jesus said,
"Didn't I tell you, that, if thou wouldest believe, thou shouldest see the glory of God?"
So they rolled the stone away. Jesus lifted his eyes to heaven and prayed, then called out with a loud voice,
"Lazarus, come forth."
To everyone's shock, Lazarus walked out of the tomb, alive. Jesus did many amazing miracles, showing his love and power. He healed the sick, fed the hungry, calmed storms, and even raised the dead. But the greatest miracle of all, he gave his life for us and rose again, so we can have eternal life with him.